Bank Rakyat Indonesia now. Now they have just recently opened priority banking in Singapore, one of the most expensive property in Singapore. So, on the other hand, all the state banks are encouraged to focus on, the government program, Laku Pandai, financial banking to push forward the financial inclusion. You know that we are grossly underbanked. Yet we have 118 or so banks. But, and as if you say that savings is 30% of GDP, but really Indonesian society is really actually still grossly underbanked. So there's some disconnect there. Some disconnect that must be addressed in the financial sector deepening. The way it looks as if, yes, perhaps there should be specializations. For example, what we have tried to do at Bank Negara Indonesia, we want to perfect our know-how in the financing of the various industries. We have 8 strategic sectors then, but looking at the data, what is the the growth area, especially in the region? Itu perdagangan dan jasa, the retail market. So one question is perhaps, can we link the financial sector and the quality of growth in these sectors? And also the sectors that is highest because of the focus on infrastructure has been telecommunication, transportation. These are not sectors that absorbs a lot of employment. So perhaps link this to some sort of objective that we can measure. I know the discussion about the difficulty in the labor market, the regulatory environment in the labor market. That's an issue. So I would like to really actually see, I do still believe the interdependency of the financial sector and the growth of the various other sectors, as I have been really actually focusing very much and deepening our knowledge in the sector by sector of Bank Negara Indonesia. But as of now, it seems that all the state banks having to really support and it's of course obviously important, but the financial inclusion drive. So would that be effective? Why Bank Negara Indonesia, the last 10 years at least, we did not dare jump into microfinancing is because it's really a different specialization. It is not in the DNA of each and every bank. It takes time to develop. Although I really believe it is important because Indonesia is closely underbanked. That's the reason why perhaps Indonesians self-finance from the parents, new businesses. It will never take off. It has a limitation. Perhaps a more deeper discussion on this aspect should be warranted. Secondly, I'd like to point out it's a lot of governance issue also in the ketatanegaraan. Let's say that budget management, government budget, very slow disbursement. So I remember during the presidency, the administration specifically mentioned the second hand of government to finance growth and infrastructure are the state-owned banks, because they cannot rely fast enough on the government budget disbursements. So the reliance is on the state banks to intermediate the big infrastructure projects. But that too has its limitations. We know all the reasons. It's too expensive, long-term exposure, and that's a structural problem not only in state banks but the whole entire financial sector. And obviously, if we want to now linking this, how to develop the pension market, the insurance market, obviously, investments need to take place not in the financial sector, but in the real sector. Now I don't see how, for example, UK, perhaps the financial sector is 10, 20, or I don't know how many more times larger than the actual real sector of the United Kingdom. And we're far from it. So perhaps we will not have a problem with the financial sector conglomeration as yet, because all the individual parts of the financial sector is very small. But it needs to have where to invest in. So it's if the companies, the sectors grow, perhaps the pension funds will also grow, and the insurance will also grow. It goes hand in hand. It cannot be dealt with discussion on the financial sector to say, but we need to link it to what is it that we want to finance.
Thank you, Ibu. So I think she raised quite a few issues there, Steve, on the underbank and the obligation of the state-owned banks to have inclusive financial systems. So it means that they have to go to the wider market, and it's another issue for the state-owned enterprises regarding the government budget and the growth of the pension fund. Okay, several, yeah, okay. I would like to invite others to join in the discussion on how to really deepen our financial sector. Please mention your name and institution and kindly be brief. Thank you.
Okay, good morning. Very interesting presentation and discussion. My name is Kadek from LPM. I would like to give two questions actually. The first related to banking sector's function, which doesn't work, especially after, I checked the data, especially after the financial crisis 1998, and when the governments of Indonesia issuing bonds and also the central bank's independence. Because when the government issuing bonds, the banking sector has alternative for investment, not only delivering credit, but also put their money in bonds market, capital markets, and also the other type of securities. We can see also the data of M1 and M2, the broader definition of money. The gap is larger. M2 is increasing significantly, but M1 is tend to be flat. It indicates that our money functions not purely for the transactions and also for the banks, not only optimize their asset to credit, but put in the financial securities. So what is the solutions for these trends? Because it happens not only in Indonesia, I think in developed countries and also developing countries. If we have an idea to back to the traditional system of banking sectors, we have banks for farmers, for example, banks for infrastructures. I think it's not solving the problem, because we have not yet solved the incentive issue here for the banking sector. Because if they put their investment or money in the real sector investment, the return is still lower than putting money in the financial market or in the money market, because there is risk there. So that the solution is the government have to improve the investment climate and also the other structural aspects. I want to hear your comments about this issue. Second, this is quite interesting. It presents the data from flow funds account. Yeah? And from the data shows that household has offered savings and the government has deficit and international market has excess savings. Private sector has offered investment than saving. This is interesting to check based on the scale of the firms. I think the firm or the large firm, they has more funds to finance their investment. But for the small medium enterprises, they need more financing. That's why the issue here not about the deepening of Indonesia to the economic growth, but this is more interesting to explore the financial deepening and income inequality problems. So that's my question, and I need your explanation and also comment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pak Kade. Can I invite one more? Silakan, Pak.
Thank you. My name is Khairil from Secretariat Negara. I only have a very short comment actually. Do we have a financial market? I think Indonesia has a financial market, but unfortunately it's not in Indonesia, it is in Singapore. Yeah. This is a problem. We are talking about maritime platform, for example. We say Indonesia is well placed between Asia and Australia, between Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean. But the transshipment market is not in Indonesia, it is in Singapore. So this is our problem. And then how can we build our financial market? Yeah? Krugman says once it is established in a location like Singapore, yeah, it's very difficult to build another market outside of the area. Yeah. It will serve all the countries within the Singapore itself. Okay, this is a very basic question that we have to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak. Would you like to address all the comments, please?
Okay, I don't know whether I can satisfactorily address all these, but thank you all for your comments, very, very good comments. Let me have a go, and I might mix them up a little bit. But the question of specialised banks has come up again and again. That's the old world, and there were reasons for moving away from that. And yet, I said earlier that I thought the universal bank model also had problems. And I thought the interesting point was that you made was that the micro funding was actually very different from ordinary banking. And this seems to me to be a perfect example where they should be separated institutionally in different institutions. It's very hard to manage the institution, which on the one hand is lending to big companies, lending to PLN and Personina, and at the same time doing the other micro lending. I think micro lending has turned out to be extremely important for development. I think that's a lesson we've certainly learned in recent decades. So I don't want you to think that I'm against that or don't think that's important. It's extremely important. But the way it's done is just totally different. I think you need different institutions for that. Now, whether that means you need different institutions for agriculture and so on, I think that's a different issue, and I think the answer is probably no. Now, where government policy impinges on the banks, again, this is a tricky issue. We've all had the experience of people who didn't give it back to you. They were agents for development, but that meant they didn't have to pay you back again. And I don't think you can build a serious banking system with that as an important priority. And I know this issue of inclusiveness is very important, but it may be that technology will really change the way inclusion happens. I think it may be that inclusion happens via smartphone banking, and I think Indonesia can bypass a lot of time we wasted in trying to get small people into banks. Our banks in Australia have given up trying to get us to come to the banking system. They want to keep us out of the banking system. They want to make sure we never visit their banks because it's too difficult to look after us, and we want to spend too much time talking to the tellers who are being paid a salary. So, in a sense, you can bypass that and go to the next stage where smartphones are doing the job and the banks are in there somewhere, but in quite a low role. On the question, Kadek's question of the incentives for banks, if you see banks holding a lot of bonds, then you know that something's gone wrong in the system, because it's a very inefficient form of funding. When banks take money from the public, they put a whole lot into capital, various forms of holding capital, and what tiny bit is left they go and put in a absolutely safe asset like government bonds. This doesn't make any sense at all. They need some bonds to hold, to make sure they've got secure assets when things go wrong. But they shouldn't be intermediating into the banking system. And the answer to that has to be that it's much more profitable for them to lend to business people, where they get 12 or 15% rather than 8%. And so why don't they do that? Because the risk is too big. The key there is to reduce the risk, and that gets back to this question of the legal system and can they get the money back again? Is the administrative system working properly? But if they have a margin of, say, 4%, 400 basis points between the riskless rate and their lending rate, that's a very fat margin. They should be lending there, but lending to people who are going to pay them back. So you've got to get the risks down. Now the great question of Singapore, I just find this such an interesting issue that Singapore has become the financial centre for Indonesia. Equivalent point, thanks for making that very good point. Once it happens, you can't, it's very difficult to unwind it. But when we look at the private sector, there have been times when companies which seem to be dominant in the sector were in fact rolled or were effectively completed by someone else. IBM lost its dominance in computing, and look at the rise of Apple. So I regard it as very difficult, but not impossible. But what I think you need to do first, and I said this in my talk, is we need to understand the situation. I think at the moment we just know there's an issue there, but we need to have some data which helps. How much is being done in Singapore? Who are the people who are doing it in Singapore? And then I think we would have at least the opportunity of looking at that and saying, I wonder whether these customers could be attracted back to Indonesia. Now, part of that process will be to make the issue of bonds in Indonesia very attractive, so it's just as easy to issue them here as in Singapore. So you need to do other things. But the first thing is to understand what's happening in Singapore. And I'll just repeat the thought I had about that. It will be very hard to understand this at the official level by going to Singapore and saying, please tell us what you do with our money. I think they'll say, we have banking laws that stop us from giving you any information at all about what you want to know. I think you'll have to find another way, and I think the academics among you are the force which could go in there and link up with Singapore academics so that you have access at all sorts of levels, link with the many Indonesian companies which are effectively based in Singapore, and build up the story in words. Don't be discouraged that you can't get exact figures on things. Build up the story in words, and over time it becomes more accurate.
Yeah, it's really important to understand the behavior of the investors, right? Why they go to Singapore instead of to Indonesia. And Ibu Kelia would like to follow up.
What we need is really the good quality opportunities, good quality investment opportunity, and that is still not there. That's why I was pointing out, why is it that in the region, the growth sector is the retail sector, perdagangan dan jasa saja. There's no other sector really. So I think if we have, I'm not suggesting old school industrial policy, but you know, incentivize the industries to grow, incentivize the players to participate in the various sectors in their expertise. Money will flow in. I think money is seeking investment, and the growth areas in Indonesia, we know that. So I think that's the hurdle.
Okay, very briefly, Pak.
Yeah, the one thing that we have to take a look at is the forward and backward linkages of this financial market also. Yeah, you can see that all of the logistic companies, so we could have their business in Singapore. This is a fact, and our services, what we call it, the deficit in our service sector, most of that from is logistic services. Yeah. So we cannot talk just about the financial market, but we have to talk about the financial market backward and forward linkages of this market here. It's one of the very comprehensive, integrated entity. Otherwise, if what we are talking about is we are talking about how to develop market, and then this is what we need to study to learn. Yeah. How do we develop the market? We have Batam, we have Sabah. We say we have the what we call it, the decision, the policy, establish this location as a free port or free market zone, something like that. But nothing happened. Yeah. We just develop the infrastructure, physical infrastructure. We build the port, we build seaport, and nobody used port and airport and seaport in Batam as a hub. Yeah. So what is this for? Yeah. This infrastructure development investment. So this is what I mean by developing the market is not infrastructure only, but market is an integrated, what we call it, part and comprehensive thinking of that. Thank you.
Okay, just to give an empirical framework. Okay, we have two listed companies, Singapore and Indonesia. Revenue-wise, company in Singapore is 60% of our revenue. It's dollar-based. Okay, it's shipping. It's shipping. Okay, the margin is only very small. We develop the logistic facilities in Indonesia, which is now 40% of our revenue. But bottom line now is equal. So the 60% is revenue of Singapore is equal to the revenue bottom line of the Indonesian facilities. Okay, we benefit from Singapore system because it's corporate tax free in Singapore, repatriated back as dividend to Indonesia. We own 65% of the Singapore company, so again it's tax free in Indonesia, so we pay less tax for the profit that we get. What we did in the last 7 years is improve our facilities in Indonesia through efficiency and effectiveness. We built a port in Palawan, financed by Mandiri, which led to the Sarana thing, so that we get better terms of loan. But if you look into our financial, it's OCBC and ESP, okay, which is Singapore, Indonesia, financing our Indonesian business development. And Mandiri learned from us as how to structure infrastructure financing. So this is just an illustration of the real sector boosting the capacity in Indonesia, the potential in Indonesia, leveraging on a strategic development in the region. We benefit from the growth of the region between 64 to the crisis. We went public in 1997 in Singapore. We had the financing, private investment of IFC to go to Singapore in Indonesia. So we leverage the benefits we get in Indonesia to establish ourselves in Singapore and then leverage the Singapore policy also. Why we came to Singapore? Because we were exporting 70% of the cargo going out to the region. And now we are having 50 to 50% of the cargo going out and into Indonesia in our control, regionally as well as domestically. So this is how I'm showing how we survived. Our first quarter, 2015, is still positive despite the negative economy of Indonesia. And our last year result was 120% of the 2012-13. And that is because of system, information system, and also improvement of human resource development and leveraging of whatever policy is prevailing in the region as well as in Indonesia.
You get to understand the Singapore role. You speak to people like you, a PhD student, somebody who writes down all these stories, and after he or she has been writing down these stories for 2 or 3 years, you understand the issue. So that's extremely useful, a demonstration of how the understanding can be brought up.
Thank you very much for the audience, participants for this discussion. It is a very interesting discussion. Although it is kind of depressing still, the situation, but we have the future in our financial system. Thank you very much for your time.